And we welcome you to the SEC on ESPN. We're inside Rupp Arena for the #1 ranked Kentucky Wildcats taking on the defending MAC East champion Buffalo Bulls, led by head coach Bobby Hurley, also 1-0 to start the season. And a great Sunday afternoon to you. Welcome inside Rupp Arena alongside Sean Farnham. I'm Rich Hollenberg. And Sean, finally, the preseason prognostications are over. We're playing college basketball for real now. Kentucky, a 40-point win in their opener Friday night. What'd you take away from that?
40-point win, you assume everything is great, but instead, there's things to clean up. There's things to get better. In particular, finishing out a game. They played really well in the first half. They struggled a little bit in the second half, and then also sharing the ball. That was a big point of emphasis for Coach Calipari yesterday when we were at practice.
Well, the platoon system is what everyone's talking about now and will be throughout the season. Here's what it played out Friday night.
And you see there's a slight differential in the minutes, slight differential in production as well. Blue with 52, White with 33 points, but overall I think it works. This team is extremely tight. They were very loose today, having a great time, smiling and enjoying the process, and that's what it's about for Kentucky basketball right now. It's taking the steps to get better to accomplish the ultimate goal.
And it's about carrying on and continuing the tradition. Coach Cal, a win today, giving him $599 for his 22-plus year career. 20 straight 20-win campaigns for him, the most wins of any head coach since 2005. The Harrison twins, Aaron and Andrew, head up the blue platoon. Freshman Carl Towns, juniors Alex Poitras, and Willie Cauley-Stein round out the first starting five for the Cats. And the starting lineup for the visiting Buffalo Bulls. 3 guards starting: freshman Lamonte Bearden, Jaren Skeeton, Shannon Evans, UVA transfer Will Regan, and Justin Moss rounds out the first 5 for Buffalo. And there's a look at Bobby Hurley's second season at Buffalo. Led the Bulls to their first ever MAC East title last year. Hurley's exploits as a Blue Devil player, of course, not forgotten by Big Blue Nation. We'll talk about that later. He's still the NCAA all-time leader in assists. And we're underway. Inside Rupp Arena, the ball goes out of bounds. We'll re-tip. Your officials are Pat Adams, Antonio Petty, and James Barker.
I think the key for Buffalo early in this game is they've got to eliminate the flurries and the runs that Kentucky can put on you. We know about their depth. We know about the athleticism that the Wildcats have, and they can score in bunches. They start in the 2-3 zone, trying to protect that painted area where Kentucky can just flat out dominate.
Inside to the freshman Towns, who kicks it back out. First shot of the game, short from Poitras. Offensive rebound, and that's something that we'll see all day long.
Look, they rebounded at a 67% clip of their misses on Friday night. When a shot goes up, you have to put a body on somebody, and that time Aaron Harrison sneaks his way in, gets 2, and a trip to the free throw line.
51 rebounds Friday night against Grand Canyon, 24 of those on the offensive glass.
They had more offensive rebounds than Grand Canyon had in total rebounds.
Aaron Harrison opens the scoring, misses a chance at the three-point play. 2-0 Cats to start it out. Here's Shannon Evans. Coach Hurley expecting a lot from him this year.
Missed an opportunity. Justin Moss was open after the screen, and that's where the length bothers you at the defensive end of the floor.
Justin Moss misses his first shot, but the offensive board goes to Skeet. He tries a 3 and nails it. Jaren Skeet opens the scoring for the Bulls.
Well, they did not shoot the ball well from deep in their opener, just 11% for Buffalo. They need to shoot the ball a lot better from beyond the arc, so a good start for the Bulls.
Here's Andrew Harrison. Takes it inside, foul on the floor. That's going to go on the 6'1" sophomore, Shannon Evans. He was an all-MAC freshman, a freshman All-American last year, helping lead the Bulls to that MAC East title a year ago. Andrew Harrison alone, too strong. Here comes the freshman Bearden. Blocked out of bounds, but a foul before the shot.
Well, you've got to take those opportunities when you have them if you're Buffalo. A long shot often leads to a long rebound. If you can secure it and look to attack without having to go against the length being in front of you of the Kentucky defense, that gives you a better opportunity to get fouled and get to the free throw line.
Here's the freshman Bearden, 6'3", out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Knocks down the first.
They've got high hopes for him. I mean, they really think that this young man could become a program-making player for them up in Buffalo. He had 6 assists in the opener and only 1 turnover. And doesn't matter who you're playing. If you're a freshman and you can control the game and not turn it over and make your teammates better, you got a chance to be really good.
90 seconds into the game, it's a 3-point lead for Buffalo. Harrison again from the wing. So it's Buffalo 5, Harrison Twins 4. Now some full court pressure.
Aaron was about to turn the dribbler when he slipped and fell on the floor.
Aaron pass from Evans, that's a turnover for Buffalo.
That's the thing about Kentucky's pressure, is usually against the press you say, okay, if we break that first line, then we can attack their interior guys. But with the length that they have on their back line, it's almost like you've got 2 separate presses. You've got to deal with the length all over the floor.
And we got a whistle away from the ball. And the foul is going to go on Will Regan. Here's Towns, skip pass. Look inside, Poitras, the assist to Willie Cauley-Stein.
That's just beautiful movement by Alex Poitras against the zone. And it all actually started on the strong side when they brought the double team against Karl-Anthony Towns.
Here's where the length and size of Kentucky really takes its toll. Turnover. Harrison. And we've got the block foul. That's going to be number 2 on Evans.
And it's the second turnover against the pressure, and the pressure comes after you make a shot. Watch, they bring the double team on Karl-Anthony Towns. Now your defense is scrambling a little bit. You're out of sorts, and a beautiful touch pass by Willie Cauley-Stein sets up Alex Poitras as he cuts to the rim.
That puts Aaron Harrison back at the line, shooting 2. Knocks down the first. He, of course, emblazoned into the minds of not just Kentucky fans, but all March Madness fans for what he did in those 3 games leading up to their tournament run to the title game.
It was a great NCAA tournament with some clutch heroics against Louisville, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And it really highlighted overall a very solid season. And his return, along with his brother here to Kentucky, kind of changed the whole concept of how things were going to flow this season.
Bulls handle the pressure that time. Pull up. Evans, no good. Towns the rebound. Here's Towns. He misses. We have a foul on the floor. Well, Karl Towns, the Gatorade National Player of the Year coming out of high school, a birthday boy, turned 19 years old yesterday.
Yeah, I asked him, I said, how's it feel now to be an old veteran? You know, he got from 18 to 19, all of a sudden now you're a grizzly old vet. He laughed, and of course it's been a great process for him, and he told us the one aspect of his game that he's really trying to work on and learn about is how to be more versatile with his inside out and not just get stuck, whether it's on the outside or down low in the interior. And that's 2 fouls.
Yeah, 2 quick fouls on the freshman Towns. This is where things become interesting with the platoon system, where 3 minutes into the game, he usually wants to plant a platoon at around the 4-minute mark. There's the inbounds. Moss, nice up and under. First 2 of the game from Justin Moss, who had a career-high 25 Friday night.
A complete breakdown of the defensive end of the floor that time for Kentucky, and Moss made himself available. He got the easy score.
Offensive rebound and the putback by Willie Cauley-Stein. And Coach Cal getting set for the white platoon to enter at the next whistle. You see 5 white jerseys sitting at the scorer's table. There's a pull-up from Skeet. He has an early 5 points.
I really like the way Buffalo is trying to attack this pressure and looking for open shots. It's tough to find them in the paint, so you've got to be able to make jump shots from the outside.
There's a turnover. Numbers favor the Bulls. Skeet again. Jaren Skeet, his second 3-pointer of the afternoon. And with 16:02 to go in the first half, we have a timeout on the floor, and we will be seeing the white platoon coming in after the whistle.
Well, and the white platoon is going to have to do a better job at defensive transition, finding Buffalo. He's a simple pass to the wing, a lazy closeout, and a knockdown, and Buffalo's playing with a lot of confidence. They're playing with great freedom. Look, here's the reality. Nobody in the world would anticipate Buffalo coming in and winning this game, or really even hanging with Kentucky late in this contest. So it should allow you to walk in and say, you know what, we've got nothing to lose. Let's just play free. Let's play aggressive. And they're handling the pressure. They're not turning it over, and they're finding good looks right now.
Bobby Hurley told us yesterday at their walkthrough, he tells his team, break the game up. It's 4-minute segments, and win each segment. They've won the first segment.
And if you can win a majority over the 40-minute period of time, if you can get to a 7-3, that's how you win games.
So now we have the white platoon in, led by the freshman Tyler Ulis, Devin Booker, Trey Lyles, Marcus Lee, the sophomore, and of course another sophomore, Dakari Johnson. That's your white platoon who's just entered the game for Kentucky. We have our first timeout on the floor, 15:47 to go. It's a 12-10 Buffalo lead. And
it's the freedom at which Buffalo is playing with, shooting 67% already.
Coach Calipari a little bit flummoxed at the first 4-minute performance of his Kentucky Wildcats. Ranked #1 coming in. They're down by 2 to Bobby Hurley's Buffalo Bulls, 12-10. Monday on ESPN, you've got a Hoops doubleheader. First, Sunshine State rivals squaring off as the Canes battle Billy Donovan's Gators. Then George Niang leads Fred Hoiberg's battle-tested Cyclones against the Georgia State Panthers. Part of Tip-Off Marathon presented by Dish. Miami, Florida at 7, Georgia State, Iowa, Monday at 9 on ESPN.
And I saw the Florida Gators on Friday night, and they played really well at the defensive end of the floor. But Dorian Finney-Smith with a little hairline fracture in his wrist. It'll be interesting to see if he's able to go in that game. And then today announced Dylan Graham, the reserve on the team, is going to transfer out. Not a deep team right now for Billy Donovan, but a very good quality team, especially with their starting 5.
Nice set out of bounds from Calipari's club, and Trey Lyles gets his first 2 of the game.
Well, how efficient was Trey Lyles in the opener? 10 shot attempts, 14 points in limited minutes.
Bobby Hurley's brought in a reserve too. That's number 20, Rodell Wigginton, and he immediately gets his shot off and gets fouled. He'll go to the line and shoot 2.
Only 2 offensive rebounds for that blue unit in the first 4 minutes. And only 1 offensive rebound for Buffalo. The point differential there has to be one-sided. For Buffalo, if they're going to stay in this game, they've got to keep it tight, which they've been able to do very well. And I love the fact that they're going into the shot blockers' bodies. That's one of the big things you have to do. You can't be afraid of the length. You have to aggressively attack it. They're going to block your shot from time to time. Don't be afraid.
Wigginton 1 for 2. That was Dakari Johnson with the rebound. Wildcats a chance to take the lead with a bucket. Johnson spins, gets it blocked. Cross-court bounce. Can't get the transition bucket. We're going the other way. That's a lost opportunity for Bobby Hurley's club, Sean.
Got to be able to convert in the open floor, and that was an opportunity to do it. And that's a second foul, even more importantly, on Justin Moss. And he was a player that played so well in their opener. Had 25 points and 13 rebounds, and yet fouled out of the game in just 28 minutes. So 2 early fouls, and for a team that doesn't have a lot of length and size, it hurts Buffalo with him coming off the floor.
So Moss to the bench. Number 31, Raheem Johnson, takes his spot. Cats going inside out against the 2-3 zone. The follow attempt by Lee, no good. But they get the second one to go.
Who do you award that to, Lyles or Dakari Johnson? I think they gave it to Lyles. Both of them right there around the rim.
You are correct as usual, Mr. Farnham. 4 points for the freshman Lyles. And we're going to have a foul on Buffalo. That's going to go on number 35, Xavier Ford.
Depth, length, athleticism around the rim. Watch as this shot goes up. First, it's Marcus Lee, and as the attempts come up, it's Johnson and Lyles, both with their hands on the ball. They gave it to Lyles for the 2, but a nice job crashing the rim. And defensively, you have to be aware that that's what Kentucky's going to do. How do you negate their size? You get into them early. You're the one that has to initiate the contact to keep them away from the rim.
Devin Booker at the line. He knocks down his first free throw. Another Gatorade Player of the Year, another McDonald's All-American, 1 of 9 this year for Coach Cal.
And his first point in games that count. He's yet to make a field goal, but his first 2 points now as a Kentucky Wildcat. First 2 of what will be many, many points. He is an outstanding shooter.
The number 3 shooting guard coming out of high school last year, according to Paul Biancardi and the ESPN Recruiting Nation crew. 16-13, Kentucky with the lead. Here's Skeet, he's had a hot hand and continues. Jaren Skeet, his 3rd triple of the day. Johnson, low post, fouled by Johnson.
How about the performance we've seen from Skeet? Noted as a limited offensive player, struggled to find any kind of offensive rhythm a year ago. And now, coming onto this floor, playing the way that he has in the early stages of this game with 11 of the team's 16 points.
Takari Johnson short on that attempt. Talking to Bobby Hurley earlier in the week, he said last year they had the MAC Player of the Year in Javon McCree, so it was really just dump it down to Javon. That was their offense. This year they're playing more Bobby Hurley type basketball, letting the guards run the show.
And a good job by Takari Johnson. He's improved his ability to step to the free throw line and make shots there. But Skeet, 73% of his makes a year ago came from beyond the arc. It shouldn't be a surprise that he wants to look for that shot.
Freshman Bearden misses. Here comes Ulis.
Buffalo's doing a nice job in defensive transition, getting back and not allowing those fast break early offense looks for the Wildcats.
Ulis, first shot attempt, good.
You go under the screen and Tyler Ulis can make you pay from the outside. A nice job by the freshman to step into that one.
That gives the Wildcats a 4-point lead, 20-16 with 13-15 to go in the first. 3 freshmen, 2 sophomores on the floor in this white platoon for John Calipari. Will Regan gets fouled before the shot.
And that last possession offensively for Kentucky, this is what I'm talking about, going under the screen. Dribble handoff action. You can't lay back and have your hands down by your hips when you have a player like Tyler Ulis who will easily step into an uncontested 3-point shot.
And Sean, the white platoon did its job, giving Kentucky a 4-point lead. Now wholesale substitutions again 3 minutes later, and it's the first starting 5 back in. Harrison twins, Willie Cauley-Stein, Towns, and Poitras on the floor for the Cats. Poitras with the steal.
That's a pass that usually gets completed for Buffalo. They're just not used to the length underneath.
And Pat Adams gets Alex Poitras for the traveling violation.
And that's the difficult part for anybody that's an opponent for Kentucky this season, is the fact that when you go through your scout, you know, sometimes you have a walk-on or a manager even out on the floor, and they're playing the part of Andrew Harrison. You know, if you had somebody that's on your scout team that's 7 feet tall and can jump with a 40-inch vert, they're probably in uniform. They're not on your scout team.
Here's Regan. And we've got a foul underneath. It's going to go on number 31, Raheem Johnson. And Will Regan, who came into this season as Bobby Hurley's top returning leading scorer, he has yet to get a field goal in this game and only had 1 in the first game.
That's struggling, to say the least. He's a very good spot-up shooter. And 28% of his looks last year came in those situations where he shot over 42% from the floor. So this young man at the free throw line, though, he's versatile and he can do a lot of things for Kentucky.
This is the front end of the 1-and-1. And Buffalo with another chance to cut back into this Kentucky lead. What have you seen defensively so far from the Wildcats?
They've done a pretty decent job in the half-court set. The bigger problem has been in the transition looks at boxing out. With their size and athleticism, they shouldn't give up many second-chance opportunities. Buffalo's had a couple of them here.
Here's Towns, low block. Jump hook, no good. Gets his own rebound. There's a foul. We're going the other way. With 11:48, it'll be Buffalo ball, a chance to tie or take the lead in enemy territory. Bobby Hurley's Buffalo Bulls shooting 50% from the field. They trail #1 Kentucky by 2 with 11:48 to go in the first half. College basketball on ESPNU, and of course, Bobby Hurley and these Kentucky Wildcats, well, they have some history, Sean Farnham. You go back 22 plus years to the Elite Eight game. That was one of the great games in all-time NCAA college basketball history. And of course, Bobby Hurley was the point guard for the Blue Devils team in this game that took place in the Philadelphia Spectrum. He had 22 points and 10 assists, but everybody remembers this Christian Laettner shot as time ran out to win that game 104-103 in overtime and propelled the Blue Devils into the Final Four and ultimately a national championship.
Well, everybody in Big Blue Nation, and certainly everyone in this arena right now, they remember that shot because when Bobby Hurley was announced as the head coach, it was pretty loud.
Resounding boos.
The boos rained down from the rafters here.
Although what's interesting is you ask Bobby about it, he said, the people in Lexington have always been very nice to him. He spends a lot of time down here. He's into the horses. And he said, the one thing they tell me is just don't ever bring Christian Laettner down here.
I think that's a fair request.
Here's Wigginton, right hand, too strong. Towns, another rebound.
I like what Buffalo's doing offensively. They're being very aggressive, hunting for their shots.
Harrison, baseline. Cauley-Stein. No good again. Ball's out of bounds. It'll stay Wildcat basketball.
I thought Aaron should have shot that ball in the corner. The little hesitation. And if he had his feet set and his hands ready, he would have been able to knock it down. But right now, 1 of 5 from beyond the arc for Kentucky. 3 for 3 for Buffalo.
They're swinging around, low post. No go for Willie Cauley-Stein. Wigginton in the lane. Yes. Rodell Wigginton has 3, and we're tied with 10:45 to go in the first. Here's Towns for 3. He can knock that down, but I'm sure Coach Calipari would have liked a little more ball movement.
Well, energy level here, not necessarily at the level that it needs to be for Kentucky. And right now, Buffalo is giving them a little bit more.
Here's Evans. Got the foul. And Shannon Evans will go to the line and shoot 2.
Now, defensively, I've been really impressed with Buffalo from the standpoint of not allowing clean lanes and clean looks. And they collapse on Willie Cauley-Stein. They immediately turn it into an opportunity to score at the other end of the floor. A little dribble handoff. And then once again, attacking the size using soft touch up over the top.
Shannon Evans, who averaged 8.5 points and 2.5 assists last year. Coach Hurley expecting him to up those numbers significantly this year. He missed that first free throw. Check that, made that first free throw, and now we have the white platoon checking back in.
Well, the white platoon did a nice job in their first stint out on the floor. They gave the lead back to the blue, and then the blue gave it up again. And that ball gets tipped out of bounds. It's going to stay with Buffalo.
So it's the 3 freshmen and 2 sophomores back on the floor. Ulis, Booker, Lee, Lyles, and Dakari Johnson. See what Coach Hurley dials up on the inbounds under the basket. Wigginton, not shy. Too strong on the 3 attempt. And Johnson comes away with it. Booker for 3, in and out. Offensive rebound by Lyles, a fresh 35 for Kentucky.
Great energy by Lyles coming all the way from the weak side, and these fans are wanting to get on their feet, wanting to make noise right now for the Wildcats.
Ulis, top of the key for 3 again. That's his 2nd of the afternoon. Bobby Hurley wisely calls a timeout.
The environment has been pretty quiet up to that moment. The three that got the fans going, but it started with Trey Lyles, getting the offensive rebound, and then Tyler Ulis knocking down the shot. You watch the ball rotation, the defense a little bit slow, closeouts, hands on the hips, down low, and Tyler Ulis for the second time able to knock down the three.
Monday night on ESPN2, Hall of Fame head coach Larry Brown leans on junior Nick Moore to lead the Mustangs as they battle the Bulldogs and senior guards Kevin Pangos and Gary Bell Jr. It's number 22 SMU, number 13 Gonzaga, part of Tip-Off Marathon presented by Dish Monday at 11 on ESPN2.
And nothing better than the Tip-Off Marathon. 24 straight hours of outstanding college basketball, some great games all across the country. That one, SMU Gonzaga, is going to be a phenomenal contest. Nick Moore, an outstanding guard. The depth that Mark Few has this year up in Spokane, they'll be one of the best teams in all of college basketball all season long. It'll be great to watch Fran Fraschilla and Dave Fleming on the call there.
And we've got a foul on the floor. Ulis goes down. That's his first foul. And you know, Coach Calipari talks about Tyler Ulis as a classic pass-first point guard, and yet we've seen the three-point shot in effect.
The three-point shot has been good, but Wigginton has done a nice job being the aggressive attacking guard that you need. He's had a couple of times where he's turned the corner and looked to shoot over the top. That time just kind of bulldozed his way, put his head down, and was able to draw the foul on Tyler Ulis and get to the free throw line.
Wigginton, a 6'5" junior out of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. He's 3 for 4 from the free throw line. He has 5 points, and it's the 4th tie of the afternoon.
We're almost 12 minutes in, and 0 fast break points so far for Kentucky.
Quick pass, Lyles, corner, no good. Almost another offensive rebound for Kentucky.
Instead of rebound by Moss, who had checked back into the game. He's got 2 personal fouls, so you've got to watch and try to see how Coach Hurley is going to try to massage the minutes for Justin Moss so that he doesn't get his 3rd personal in the first half.
Sensing a little more defensive urgency by these Wildcats now. And they're going to get Evans for steps.
Trying to do a little bit too much.
Extra pass picked off.
Oh, good job collapsing defensively.
Wigginton got away with one.
Good defense by Devin Booker on the ball right there.
Wigginton jump stop. Quick timeout here, 7:45 to go from Rupp Arena, Kentucky. Buffalo knotted at 23.
Tie score here in Rupp Arena, and Buffalo's been able to do it in all phases of the game. Out of bounds underneath, in transition, spotting up, finding open shooters from beyond the arc. They're 3 of 4 from out there, and then aggressively looking to attack and to step into jump shots as well. This has been an impressive first half for Buffalo, shooting 48% from the field. Kentucky, meanwhile, just shooting 36%. And maybe the biggest stats that jump off the page to me is that Buffalo's only -2 on the glass. And again, Kentucky has 0 fast break points.
And you saw the faces on the bench of the blue platoon. They are not pleased, to say the least. Here's Marcus Lee, first dunk of the game.
A little execution out of the timeout, get the ball down low. It's a good, strong cut by Marcus Lee and able to finish.
Here's Ford, had it blocked by Johnson.
You get the ball down low, the defense kind of collapses. You lose track of your man, and if you lose track of your man against the Kentucky Wildcats, they're in the rim.
That dunk giving Kentucky a 2-point lead, 25-23. catch and shoot, and Jaren Skeet is on fire.
Sometimes players just show up in big games and they play free, and that's what Skeet's doing right now. And this young man has walked into this building, and as Myron Metcalf would say on ESPN.com, he don't care. He's got 14 in the first half.
6'3" junior out of Brampton, Ontario. A lot of good basketball coming from up north the last few years. Now we have the blue platoon back in, trying to improve on their play, which was a little sluggish to start. And there's Justin Moss right off the bat. 4 points for Moss, and it's a 28-25 Buffalo lead. And a miss up close by Towns.
A good decision to pull this out, burn some time here a little bit. Force Kentucky to defend.
Ten on the shot clock. Nice lead for Moss.
Hello, Sports Center Top 10. You got size, you got length. I'm going to the rim. Oh my goodness.
Harrison. Wild shot. Towns misses the follow. Gets his own miss. And there's a foul on the floor.
Karl-Anthony Towns with 2. That's nice. This is impressive. The screen, the roll, the flush in Willie Cauley-Stein, one of the best shot blockers in all of college basketball. And Buffalo came in here today, and they're not playing afraid. Justin Moss in the rim, and hello, Sports Center Top 10.
Justin Moss, a 6'7" junior out of Detroit, went to Romulus High. And his former head coach, Nate Oates, is on the bench with Bobby Hurley, one of his top assistants now. 3 players on this Buffalo roster going to that high school with a great basketball tradition.
Not to be overlooked, that was worth 2. This one has the potential to be worth 3 for Kentucky at this end, and it is.
They call it a 3-point play, and Towns converts. Still a 2-point Buffalo Bulls lead. That last dunk shook this crowd, Sean.
Well, sometimes those plays, though, can also energize the team they got scored upon. And Justin Moss playing with confidence right now. This young man was suspended for their exhibition game for violation of team rules. Returned against South Dakota State University for 25 points, 13 rebounds. He was 11 for 11 at the free throw line, and he has battled some foul issues early in this game. But boy, is he playing with an aggressiveness that's needed right now for Buffalo.
And speaking of fouls, Sean, 3 fouls on young Karl-Anthony Towns.
And then that kind of breaks up the whole platoon system. And that's one of the things that Coach Cal has said throughout all the media press conferences that he's had is there's going to be times where guys get into foul trouble. There might be a need to change. There could be an injury at some point in time in the season. So things will evolve as you go along, and Dakari Johnson checks in.
Justin Moss goes to the bench.
Remember, he had 2 personal fouls. Right. So this is good job by Coach Hurley. Get something out of him and sit him down and make sure you protect him for the second half. Your team's playing well.
They immediately go into Johnson. Back out, Aaron Harrison knocks down the 3 and gives a quick glare over his shoulder to the Buffalo bench.
His first 3-point shot made on the season.
Buffalo a 1-point lead with the ball, 5 minutes to go in the first half.
What an entertaining first half.
Skeet Came up short. Good defense by Harrison.
Not a good offensive possession that time for Buffalo. The defense dictated everything for the Kentucky Wildcats.
Get ready for this rough crowd to explode if they score this bucket and take the lead. Poitras. Willie Cauley-Stein called for the travel after he picked up the offensive rebound.
He's starting to see a better sense of urgency, though, out of Kentucky.
And an unforced error by Jaren Skeet, as good as he has been, with 4 3-pointers and 14 points to lead all scorers in this game. He turns it over by moving his feet on the baseline out of bounds.
Not after a made basket. You got to stand still. It was after a travel, and a momentary mental lapse cost you a possession at a pivotal point in this game.
Rodell Wigginton checks in for Evans, so they go a little bit bigger. And here's Stein. When you talk about big, they can't match the bigs from the Wildcats.
Great interior passing, though, by Dakari Johnson. I think Buffalo's got to continue to be the aggressive team that they've been. That got them this lead.
Nice spin. Rodell Wigginton. Balanced scoring from the Bulls. Wigginton with 7, Moss with 8, and Skeet with 14. And there's another turnover. Poitras lost it. And we'll have a jump ball. It's going to be possession Buffalo.
And all the talk was about the Cats, but the Bulls, they got some strength underneath. They lead by 1.
3:47 to go in the first half, and a shocking score if you're just tuning in. Buffalo Bulls lead the Kentucky Wildcats inside Rupp Arena by 1. Rich Hollenberg and Sean Farnham. And Sean, Coach Cal said to us yesterday at the shoot-around, maybe a loss early in the season would be good for his young team. I don't think he meant this loss, though.
No, and the attention to detail right now, they have been punched in the mouth here in the first half. Buffalo has been the more aggressive team. They've been looking to attack. They have not been in fear of the interior presence of Kentucky. And they've put the pressure on the Wildcats more than the Wildcats have put the pressure on the Bulls.
We've already seen the platoon system take a bit of a hit, if you will, because of Karl Anthony Towns picking up 3 fouls. So Dakari Johnson has now taken his spot with the blue platoon, as you see the freshman Towns sitting on the bench.
Well, second chance points, a positive side for Kentucky, but by a slim margin. The same with points in the paint. 14-12, that's only a 2-point lead for a team that should be dominating down low.
Aaron Harrison checks the freshman Bearden. Well, budding stars lead Michigan State against one of the most talented rosters in Duke history. Then reloaded Kansas stares down the #1 team in the nation, the Kentucky Wildcats. The State Farm Champions Classic, Tuesday at 7 and 9 on ESPN, and watch ESPN, the home court of college hoops. We'll have more about that on halftime.
And that kind of puts a bow on the 24-hour tip-off marathon that gets underway, and everybody's looking forward to that event. You mentioned Duke, how well they've played in the early portion of this season. Averaging 111 points per game over their first 2 contests. A lot of the top teams getting off to good starts. The competition is going to increase over the next couple of weeks, not only with the Champions Classic, but Feast Week coming up right after it. A lot of great tournaments from Puerto Rico, where I know you're going to be at, partner, down to Orlando, where we're going to be at. 2 of those teams that we just mentioned will be there.
Harrison leaves it for Poitras, who can't finish. And it's taken away by the Bulls.
Maybe too much unselfishness that time by Harrison. He could have finished that one. Instead, left it for his teammate. That's the one more. You want to see that unselfishness, but you've got to also realize the opportunity to get an easy 2.
Evans took it into the trees and came away empty. Here's Ulis. Harrison alone for 3. Stein, another offensive rebound, but he stepped on the baseline. And again, John Calipari going to his bench. Alex Poitras will sit down. And the freshman Trey Lyles, number 41, checks back in.
Willie Cauley-Stein. He's so athletic. He can cause so many problems at the defensive end of the floor, the way they can switch screens up top. Coach Hurley told us yesterday that it really kind of negates the screening action of an opponent when you have the athleticism of Willie Cauley-Stein underneath.
Buffalo with the 2-point lead and the ball. Moss almost turned it over. Right hand, no good. Johnson with the rebound.
And see how, even in their man-to-man, they're making life difficult as far as Kentucky being able to turn the corner and attack the rim.
Inside Johnson, 10 on the shot clock. Tough pass at close range. Here comes Buffalo. They've got numbers. And Wigginton finishes at the other end.
He continues to just go right to the iron.
Pull up, Harrison, too strong. Another one-and-done possession. Moss feeling it. Ill-advised.
And that goes against what Coach Hurley was asking of his team. But a sloppy pass underneath. A minute 30 left to go here in the first half, and Buffalo's got a 4-point lead. Coach Hurley wanted his team to slow things down and get a really good possession. Now, Moss rushed it, took a ill-advised shot, but then they were fortunate enough to get the opportunity to get to the free throw line and get some points here. But you've got to understand time and possession and where you're at in the game, and geographically where you're at and who your opponent is.
Both teams in the double bonus. Wigginton knocks down the free throw. He now has 10 points.
A good job getting Moss back out, and what a job by Coach Hurley. Getting minutes out of Moss without getting him his 3rd personal foul. He'll go back to the bench. I don't think we see him for the remainder of this half.
Wigginton 1 for 2 from the stripe. So it stays a 5-point lead for Buffalo. It's their largest lead of the afternoon.
We're back to the zone. So mixing up defenses, trying to force Kentucky to be a little bit off balance.
Kentucky just one of their last 5 from the field. And an offensive foul going the other way.
Now, Trey Lyles should have pulled up on this one. He turns the corner, just stop and jump straight up. Instead, you can see him get off balance and just bulldoze right into the defender.
So we're not even a game and a half into the regular season, and we see the demise of the platoon system, so to speak. Lyles goes to the bench. Johnson on.
I don't think it's the demise of the platoon system. I just think each game will dictate how things have to flow, and Coach Cal understands that, and so does his players. And Moss back on the floor, offensive substitution.
Moss high post. Forced that one up, and Johnson comes away with the board. Under a minute to go.
The last 2 possessions that Moss has touched the ball, they have not been good quality shots.
Here's Harrison from the wing. You saw him make about 18 straight in practice yesterday from that spot.
18 straight, 29 out of 31. And of course, everybody that watched the tournament saw him knock down shots from near that spot as well. What a great first half, though, for Buffalo.
About a 10-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
And Buffalo has come in here. They have executed. They have not played with fear.
7 to shoot. Evans. Regan for 3. Too strong. 10 seconds to go in the half. 5 seconds. Here's Harrison. Comes up short.
Well, and that's just poor awareness by Alex Poitras. Time running out on the clock. You can't be looking to make one more there. You need to make a shot. And a really positive first half for Buffalo.
Coming up on the ESPNU halftime report, Sean and former UK standout Tony Delk talk round ball with the Harrison Twins. We'll have a preview of the State Farm's Champions Classic with Kansas taking on Kentucky Tuesday. And, of course, we'll have first-half stats and highlights. A shocked Rupp Arena crowd watching their #1 Wildcats trailing the Bulls at halftime. First 20 minutes of this Sunday afternoon basketball contest belong to the visiting Buffalo Bulls, who are looking to pull off the shocker in Rupp Arena. They lead the #1 Wildcats 38-33. Back here at halftime, Sean Farnham, Rich Hollenberg. So 20 minutes gone by, and Bobby Hurley's club is shocking the universe right now in college basketball. But coming out in the second half, you got to maintain that enthusiasm and that energy.
Yeah, trending on Twitter for the first 20 minutes is one thing. Finishing it off is a completely different task. And look, if you don't think that Kentucky's going to come out here in the second half and play with a bigger sense of urgency, what Buffalo's got to do is realize how they were successful in the first half and to continue to try to do that and bring the fight and bring the pressure to Kentucky.
And speaking of pressure, that pressure is led by the Harrison Twins, who you caught up with at SEC Media Day in Charlotte, North Carolina, joined by a former Wildcat, Tony Delk.
Expectations are always high in Lexington for the Kentucky Wildcats. A good reason this year. They've got experience back, and in a big way, it's Andrew and Aaron Harrison and what they bring to the table offensively. Give the ball to Andrew and Tony. Take us through this.
Andrew, when I'm guarding you, I'm going to close out, and you're going to hit me with a pump fake, and I'm going to go past you. What are your options once you get by me?
To penetrate and find an open man.
All right, let's walk through this.
Okay.
Little shot fake, you get by. Now you get to here, and we freeze it right here. What are you thinking about on the outside as you see me help off?
Just have my feet up, my left foot up, hands ready to shoot.
All right, let's go through this real quick. See what it looks like live. Oh, I come in. There's the shot, and he knocks it down. Now, we all know you can shoot the ball. I watched the NCAA tournament. I know that my coach is going to kill me if I leave you alone. So this time, I'm not going to help. That leaves you isolated on an island.
Same kind of play.
Okay.
Stay right there. I'm coming at you, closing out. What are you going to do once you get by me?
I'm pump faking, getting in the lane, see who's open, and if no one stops me, I take the layup.
What if somebody steps up?
Either a lob, someone in the corner or the wing.
A lot of options for you.
Yeah.
A lot of options. And when you talk about lobs this year, is it safe to say the Wildcats have some size and some athleticism?
Yeah, we'll be all right now.
I think they're okay there. And you know what? Everybody else has got to be aware, because when these two are out on the court, they work so well together, and they open up a ton of offense for the rest of their teammates.
Good stuff. Sean showed off the guns there with the short sleeve T-shirt, too.
Well, you know, you and I both got our workout in earlier today at the hotel. But, you know, talking about points in the paint, in the first half, it's tied between Buffalo and Kentucky. That has to change because you have a distinct advantage with size. Even against the zone, they've been able to find lanes by getting it in and then cutting to the rim hard. We didn't see that sustained over a 20-minute period of time.
Buffalo has given them their best shot, and the Wildcats are on the ropes.
Well, they're on the ropes. And this one, that's memorable.
T-minus 2 days away from the State Farm Champions Classic taking place in Indianapolis, Indiana. First game, Michigan State, Duke, followed by the nightcap, Kansas and Kentucky. That's Tuesday night at 7 on ESPN. Welcome back inside Rupp Arena. Halftime here between the Wildcats and the Buffalo Bulls. Sean Farnham, Rich Hollenberg. Kentucky here taking on Buffalo, but obviously looking ahead and looking forward to taking on the Kansas Jayhawks. 4 elite programs getting an early season test.
Well, we haven't learned much in this young college basketball season because the competition level, well, it's been below par for a lot of these teams. Well, it's about to get heavy on Tuesday. It's going to be tough sledding, and you look at the 4 teams here. All 4 teams have aspirations of obviously making deep tournament runs, potential runs at a Final Four and a national championship. The Kentucky Wildcats, to beat them, you've got to be able to get on the glass. You know, they've been outstanding in their opener. We've talked about it already. They've rebounded 67% of their misses on Friday night. Meanwhile, the Kansas Jayhawks, in their opening game, it was about their point guard play. 50% shooting from Devontae Graham and Frank Mason. Those two combined, they can really orchestrate the offense. They're going to have to handle the pressure of the Kentucky Wildcats. Meanwhile, the Duke Blue Devils have been as efficient as anybody at the offensive end of the floor, assisting on 63% of their made field goals. It's going to be tougher, though, against Tom Izzo and that defense that Michigan State brings to the table. Even losing Keith Appling, Gary Harris, and Adrian Payne, they've still got a lot of talent. Travis Trice had a great opener, 25 points, but they're going to need a lot more from Brandon Dawson in this one to kind of anchor that interior presence for the Spartans.
And Dawson heads up what Coach Izzo feels like is some of the best leadership that he's had on that Spartans team in quite a long time, which is saying something for a Tom Izzo coach team. We're going to see 4 teams that have national title pedigrees, including Kentucky, Kansas, Duke, and of course, Michigan State. It's the State Farm Champions Classic. We're back with the second half after this. This is the SEC on ESPN. We're back inside Rupp Arena, about to set the second half of the Kentucky Wildcats and the Buffalo Bulls. And we have an upset alert, Sean Farnham, because the #1 Wildcats are trailing at home at the half to Bobby Hurley's Bulls. And the numbers don't lie. Obviously, you can see by turning on the TV set that it's 38-33, but you drill down into the first half stats and some things jump out at you as to reason why they're winning.
Well, defensively, Buffalo has been more aggressive. They've had better movement, and that's why the field goal percentage overall for Kentucky isn't quite where you'd expect it to be. I mean, you look in the first half, they shot just 34% from the floor. Points in the paint are equal. 0 fast break points for Kentucky in the first half, and points off a turnover, only +1 for Kentucky. Everything leading Buffalo's way, and a big reason why, as we look at some of the highlights for Buffalo in the first half, is about the energy. Listen carefully to Coach Cal as he's talking to his defense out on this 3-point shot. He says you got to go under, you got to go under, can't go under that, and that's exactly what they did. And then after getting under it, then all of a sudden you give up an aggressive attack to the rim, and Moss going right after Willie Cauley-Stein. And then bench production. Rondell Wigginton coming off the bench with 10 points, 3 of 5 shooting, and a lot of that going to the rim. A very good first half for Buffalo. The question and the challenge is now for Kentucky. Can they play with a sense of urgency? Can they bring an energy that was lacking in this building for the first 20 minutes? They finished the first half 0 for 5 from the floor.
And you expect changes from the Kentucky side of things, and you would be right. Coach Calipari starting the second platoon on the floor for the start of the second half.
They played with better energy than the first platoon did. So the white group gets an opportunity. This is the thing about the platoon system. They're all starters. It's really not one group starts and the other one's not a group of starters. They're all talented enough to be starters. This is sending a message to the blue group. That's part of this. You're sending a message to the blue group of, hey, if you're not going to bring it, we'll just go with the other guys. And that's the versatility and the depth that Kentucky has.
And just to piggyback on your point, Sean, you look at the scoring sheet, and every one of the 10 Kentucky players is in the scoring column already. Conversely, Will Regan, the leading scorer returning for Buffalo this year, has 0 field goals in 2 games already so far. And yet, the Buffalo Bulls lead it by 5. There's Regan. And if he gets on track, look out, because they've gotten scoring elsewhere. Jaren Skeet leads all scorers with 14 points. You mentioned Wigginton with 10, and Justin Moss has 8, including that emphatic 2-hand slam.
Well, they start in the zone, and sometimes against the zone, you can become a little stagnant. And watch and wait instead of bringing the energy, cutting and moving against the zone, screening the zone. Kentucky's got to be more active in their half-court sets.
Here's Lyles from the wing. Good start for KUK.
Well, and made baskets allow you to get into your press. Your press can get you into turnovers. Turnovers can lead to fast break points.
And there's the turnover you speak of. Lyles. Bobby Hurley quickly gathering the troops. This is exactly what he didn't want to have happen.
You had a 5-point lead. Give me 50 seconds. And guess what? It's gone. The energy, well, it's back in the building. We'll see if they can sustain it.
For the 5th time this afternoon, we're tied between Buffalo and #1 Kentucky, 19-10 to go. in the second half. And Sean, it was the white platoon that played the best in the first half, and it's the white platoon that gets them going in the second half.
Well, you knew they were going to come out and play with better energy. Trey Lyles knocks down the shot, and immediately I said, this allows you to get in your press. Your press allows you to create turnovers. Turnovers allow you to get to the rim. Trey Lyles does that, and then you have a 5 count, and it's your ball once again. So 50 seconds in the start of the second half, you now have 2 turnovers for Buffalo. They haven't attempted a shot yet, and it's Kentucky's ball for their 3rd possession. Well, I thought they called a 5-second count. Oh, they called the timeout. Excuse me. I got overly excited there. Trey Lyles is in the rim, hitting 3-point shots. That's a turnover on me.
Evans leaves it for Moss. Moss strong to the hole, but can't get it to go.
And now you got to sustain this energy. And it'll be interesting to see how the blue unit comes off the bench.
There's Johnson. Misses from close range.
He's missed a lot around the rim in the early stage of the season.
Ulis. That's 3 3-pointers for number 3.
And Tyler Ulis hasn't missed from beyond the arc. And Kentucky's back out in front.
Coming up on 2 minutes gone by in the second half. Skeet off the mark. Couldn't say that many times in the first half, though.
And that's a foolish foul on Justin Moss. He quickly picks up his 3rd personal foul, and that's not where you want to get one. Ball is already going the other direction. You don't want to reach over the back.
And Justin Moss brought so much energy in that first half, so number 31, Raheem Johnson, checks in his stead. We'll see how that affects the Buffalo Bulls. So it's Lee, Ulis, Johnson, Lyles, and Booker, otherwise known as the White Platoon, sparking the Kentucky Wildcats.
And look who they're playing through. Almost every possession so far here in the second half. They've got the ball in the hands of Trey Lyles. Trey was hampered over the course of the summer. Was unable to compete with the team down in the Bahamas after having a procedure done. And the former Mr. Basketball of Indiana has come out here in the second half and has been ultra aggressive. That's his first miss from the free throw line on the season.
Well, Trey, or Trey Mamba, as his Twitter followers know him, says he likes to model his game after Tim Duncan. We haven't seen that yet, but we certainly have seen an aggressive play from Trey Lyles. 1 for 2 from the stripe. He's in double digits with 10.
A little switch on the press. Looks like you're going to trap, and then you just drop back.
Evans spins into trouble. Turnover for the Bulls. Here's Lyles, coast to coast.
And that was a good look by Trey Lyles, but Devin Booker tried to catch that ball with one hand instead of moving over and corralling it with 2, and that's what created the turnover. He had 10 turnovers in the first half for Kentucky.
Moss checks back in for Bobby Hurley's club. Four-point lead for the number 1 Wildcats. Almost 3 minutes gone by in the second half. They trailed by 5 at halftime. Bearded, the freshman.
Good hesitation and crossover. Takari Johnson on him. You know you have the speed advantage. Elevate up over the top before he can block your shot.
Here's Lee, faces up, left hand.
Well, he lost control of that ball before he even released it.
Here's Wigginton, who had a solid first half. watch the footwork of the Wildcats on defense. They do what's called lunges instead of slides like you're taught as a young basketball player, something Coach Cal was really working on in practice, teaching the youngsters. And there's a foul on the floor.
There's going to be 3 free throws attempted here. The last thing you want to do is foul a jump shooter. So up by 2, it gives Buffalo an opportunity to regain the lead here at the free throw line.
And speaking of 3 fouls now on Trey Lyles, who's really brought some juice back into this building. And now Lyles and the rest of his platoon mates will go back to the bench as the original starters of the team, the blue platoon, set to check back in. And they'll have to wait for one more free throw since there are 3 free throws coming. And now the wholesale substitutions.
And we're tied once again. So an opportunity now for the blue group that was a little lethargic, to say the least, in the first half, to try to create the buzz and bring some energy back into this building.
Our 6th tie of the afternoon. And it's untied again. That makes our 10th lead change of the day. Here's the freshman Towns. And we're going the other way. And foul trouble may start plaguing the Kentucky Wildcats. That's number 4 on Karl Towns.
They get position, and the problem with that is they worked on this yesterday at practice. And what did Coach Cal tell Karl Anthony Towns? We've got to get you with 2 feet in the paint. That's where we want you catching the ball. And we don't want to throw you the ball unless you're in that position. So part of that is all Karl Anthony Towns with the hook. The other part is he probably shouldn't have gotten that ball dropped into him, because it's not what they've been working on at practice.
And we have a carrying call on the freshman Lamonte Bearden. 15:53 to go. Buffalo took a gut punch to start this second half, but they came out and regained the lead by 1. The Buffalo Bulls looking to pull off the shocker early in the season against the number 1 Kentucky Wildcats. They lead it by 1, 43-42. Budding Stars lead Michigan State against one of the most talented rosters in Duke history. Then it's Kansas and Kentucky. The State Farm Champions Classic, Tuesday at 7 and 9 on ESPN, and watch ESPN, the home court of college hoops. And you know, we'll get a first-hand look at Michigan State in a couple of weeks at the Orlando Classic over Thanksgiving, but with Kansas and Kentucky looming just 2 days away, is there any chance that this young Kentucky club might have been looking ahead to that game?
I don't think so, because it's what Coach Calipari was talking about yesterday with his group, is that it's not necessarily who you're playing. It's in the early stages. It's about yourself. It's about trying to fix some of the areas that concern you. It was the assist totals the other night that jumped off the page and wanting to get that one more extra pass. It's the rotations and talking at the defensive end of the floor. And to be honest, today, a lot of this has to do with energy and effort. And the energy has just been down a little bit in the first half, and it got a little bit better at the start of the second half, but this group hasn't necessarily electrified anybody yet.
Towns. Oh, there's Dakari Johnson. Check that. Towns is on the bench, and Johnson goes to work in the paint, 2 feet in the paint, as you alluded to earlier.
Well, you've got to get deep post position, and how you're able to do that is you get your work done early. And you got to put your legs in between the defensive player's spin and create space and give a good target hand for the player on the wing. And the time that I've been at practice, whether it was at Big Blue Madness or yesterday with you, Dakari Johnson has been impressive in his work ethic and the way that he has adapted and changed his body. 22% body fat a year ago, down to 8% this year. He's running the floor a lot better, not getting as tired and fatigued, but he needs to do a better job finishing around the rim. He's missed a lot of close ones.
At 43 apiece, we have our 7th tie of the game, and there's Willie Cauley-Stein doing what he does as well or better than anyone in the nation. Chance for the Cats to regain the lead. Harrison. Out of bounds, it'll stay Kentucky basketball.
Well, Buffalo got away with one there. You just helped off of Aaron Harrison to pitch down to the post. He's probably not a guy you want to help off of.
Counting down to 5 minutes gone by in the second half. It's been a close one throughout. Foul on the floor. That's going to go on number 35, Xavier Ford. Check that. Number 1, Lamonte Bearden gets whistled for his 3rd foul, so he'll have to go to the bench.
And that was away from the ball as Andrew Harrison was cutting on the weak side.
Bobby Hurley looking for an explanation from Pat Adams, the lead official. Johnson left alone. And a collective groan from the Rupp Arena crowd after that missed free field goal.
Not necessarily a high percentage look. He's gotten better from that range, but not necessarily the look you're looking for there.
Here's Skeet. He had the hot hand in the first half. And the beautiful floater from Jared Skeet, his first 2 of the second half. He has a game-high 16. And Buffalo back on top by a deuce. They wave off the basket.
I personally thought the ball had left his hand and that the contact was made after the shot was released. Good job sliding into position. That ball was clearly gone. You can still call the charge, but the 2 probably should have counted.
We hear this from John Adams all the time, the coordinator of officials for the NCAA. That's the hardest call in basketball. And we've got another whistle, and we're going the other way. Well, turnovers, they're fairly even, 11 for Buffalo, 12 for Kentucky, but 12 turnovers for the Wildcats compared to just 8 assists. Aaron Harrison aggressive, called for the bump.
I believe they're going to call this in the act of shooting.
Yeah, Coach Cal wanted 2 shots for that. Maybe a little payback from the earlier foul. Regardless, Aaron Harrison will go to the line and shoot 2. He was 2 for 3 from the stripe in the first half, looking for point number 8. And he's got it.
The preseason conference play of the year voted on by the media. And the expectations are high for Aaron Harrison. He has not necessarily shot the ball well at all in the early stages of this year.
Willie Cauley-Stein crashed the boards but came away empty, and Buffalo controls.
One of the things he noted was teams are defending him differently than they were a year ago. So he's got to become more comfortable with the different defensive looks.
Nice leave underneath. Ford lost it. Kentucky, no field goals over the last 5+ minutes. They need a bucket. Johnson muscles his way in.
And gets a thumbs up from the bench. The size and strength of Takari Johnson, he should be able to finish around the rim. They can come in flurries, and for the Kentucky Wildcats, they throw the ball out ahead. Skeet should have probably tried to catch it instead of knock it down, and when he knocked it down, he advanced it, and when you advance it to Alex Poythress, he's going to throw it down, and the fans are finally on their feet here in Rupp.
That was Poythress' first field goal of the second half. He has 4. The last 2, an emphatic one that brought the Rupp crowd to its feet. A 48-45 Kentucky lead with 12:36 to go. And in the last minute, Buffalo has turned it over 4 times. And right away, upon calling that timeout, Bobby Hurley called young Shannon Evans over to give him an earful.
You try to avoid the flurries if you're an opponent. If you turn it over once, that's fine, but you don't want to turn it over multiple possessions and give life to a team as talented and as deep as Kentucky.
Moss. We're going to get the foul on Willie Cauley-Stein for the push underneath.
Good job by Coach Hurley getting the set, getting the ball in the hands of the player that he wants it in, and then attacking without turning the ball over. You need to get a good look up on this possession if you're Buffalo.
Evans had it blocked by Johnson.
By the way, that wasn't the good look I was talking about.
Here's the lob. Oh! Another empty possession for Buffalo. The Rupp crowd at full throat.
Well, all afternoon long, Big Blue Nation has wanted to stand up and cheer for their basketball team. Alex Poythress in the last minute and a half have given them a couple of opportunities. The beautiful pass over the top, the fantastic finish at the rim, and the Cats are on top by 5.
11:30 to go inside Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. College basketball on ESPNU, and the Wildcats down by 5 at the half. Now have matched their largest lead of the game, up by 5, 50-45. Alongside Sean Farnham, I'm Rich Hollenberg. The Buffalo's last 5 possessions, empty from the floor in terms of field goals, and 3 turnovers. Kentucky's defensive pressure really starting to take its toll now.
Their defense is taking a toll because their energy level is improved. You have to want to get after it. You have to want to compete, and they're not giving up open looks. They're not allowing to have the drive lanes that they had in the first half, and the length is really starting to bother Buffalo right now.
Towns continues to sit on the bench with those fouls, and it's Dakari Johnson running with the blue platoon. To shoot. Harrison, a lot of dribbling. Strong offensive rebound. Poythress. Dakari Johnson. And he's fouled. Well, Monday on ESPNU, we've got a Hoops doubleheader. First, Sunshine State rivals square off as the Canes battle Billy Donovan's reloaded Gators squad. Then it's George Niang leading Fred Hoiberg's battle-tested Cyclones against point guard Ryan Harrow and the Panthers. Part of the tip-off marathon presented by Dish, Miami, Florida at 7, Georgia State, Iowa following that Monday at 9 on ESPNU. And I mentioned the name Ryan Harrow, who is a familiar name to Wildcats fans. He was a Wildcat originally before transferring out of the program and now finding himself on a good Georgia State team. Johnson goes 1 for 2 from the free throw line.
And Casey Hill was asked earlier today about Dorian Finney-Smith, who has that stress fracture, hairline fracture in his wrist. and said, do you think he's going to play on Monday? He said yes, because he cares about this team and a vital part of the Gators.
Skeet almost lost it.
Now, Buffalo's having trouble just inbounding the ball right now. It's been an 8-0 run for Kentucky, and they have done it mainly at the defensive end, disrupting things down here and then running out of it.
The freshman Bearden, fearless. Lamonte Bearden has 6, and it's still a 4-point game. Here's Marcus Lee.
Now, see, Marcus Lee didn't even know where he was, really, as he drove baseline and went up for that shot. He was behind the backboard, and it was deflected off and hit the foam on the side. And that's what happens if you don't necessarily know where you are. You're trying to force the offense a little bit. And they're trying to attack Moss and get him in further foul trouble.
Now there's 5 on the shot clock. Ulis tries from 3. Yes! Tyler Ulis, a deep 3, his 4th of the afternoon.
You've seen him hit 3. You might want to close out with your hands up. A nice job by Tyler Ulis. They're not going to respect you and close out and contest your shot. Knock it down.
Here come the Cats. Booker went down hard. And if things get a little frenetic, that's advantage Kentucky.
No doubt. If the speed of this game increases and Buffalo continues to turn the ball over at poor shot attempts, it's going to allow Kentucky to balloon up this lead and finish strong.
That's the 3rd free throw of the game for Devin Booker. He's yet to notch a field goal in the scoring column. He's a Gatorade Player of the Year from the state of Mississippi, another McDonald's All-American, and his dad Melvin, a former Missouri guard, a 13-year pro, moved his son to Moss Point, Mississippi to enhance his basketball career. Seems to have helped.
Well, when you average 30 points a game in high school, that's pretty good.
And another turnover.
Hey, you can't inbound the ball and even try to get in your side of the floor. You're not going to have a lot of success. All the things that went right in the first half for Buffalo, now all of a sudden they're feeling the power and the strength of Kentucky.
Ulis saves it. 10 on the shot clock. Booker pulls up. Too strong. And Moss corrals it for the Bulls.
Let's see what kind of possession, though, Buffalo can get down here.
What would you like to see them do offensively?
I'd like to see him try to set a screen and get Skeet open. He hasn't had many clean looks here in the second half from beyond the arc, where he was so successful in the first half.
And this young man, senior Will Regan, the top returning scorer, has yet to get a field goal in this contest.
Look at the floor spacing. Everybody's all bunched up together. That's a poor possession once again for Buffalo.
Good defense by Lee on the wing. The white platoon minus Dakari Johnson plus Willie Cauley-Stein on the floor for Coach Calipari. And that's the first miss from long range by Tyler Ulis.
They're trying to set the screens, but Devin Booker is trailing Skeet wherever he is on the floor. Nice job by Booker sticking with him.
Nice take by Evans, but it comes up the rim. Up ahead, transition, Booker. His first field goal this season,
yeah,
Sean.
First made field goal in his career out in transition. And you know, for a team that had 0 fast break points in the first half, you're starting to see him get out and create offense off their defense.
Here's Regan. Nice follow, but it goes off the rim again. And Lyles will be called for the traveling violation. It'll be Buffalo ball when we come back, but it's been almost all Kentucky in the second half, Sean.
The energy level is better, and in large part because of their defense. Get out and finish. Booker gets his first made field goal, up by 11.
Well, this past week, we were certainly saluting all the veterans who keep our country safe, and this is a soldier surprise that gets you and tugs at the heartstrings every time you see it. This happened just moments ago on the court in Rupp Arena and brought just about everybody to tears.
I will openly admit I'm teared up right now, and the emotion of the family and our men and women that serve our country and sacrifice so much. Their family time to be around their loved ones. I've got family that's been in the military. And you see the excitement. They miss an awful lot. But you see those moments, you kind of takes and puts a lot of things into perspective. You know, we're talking about basketball, and Kentucky Big Blue Nation fans are going to be talking about their team. And regardless of what happens here down the stretch, they're probably not going to be happy overall with this performance. But for that little girl, she just got her dad home.
Good stuff in the Commonwealth. Kentucky, its largest lead of the game, 58-47, 7:18 to go. Sean Farnham, Rich Hollenberg, the rest of our ESPNU crew. The #1 Wildcats trailed by 5 at the half, and everybody was on upset alert, but they've come out looking like a different team, more like the #1 team we expected in the second half.
With activity defensively, fighting over the top of screens.
Buffalo's offense has gone stagnant. 7 to shoot. Lamonte Bearden's going to check in for Bobby Hurley's club. Xavier Ford goes to the bench, and now Dakari Johnson will come take a seat next to John Calipari and the Kentucky Wildcats, and Carl Towns checks back in with foul trouble.
There are only 3 on the shot clock here, so you got to get something up in a hurry.
And Towns picks it off. Moss gathers it. And gets it blocked by Poitras. Out of bounds, it'll stay Buffalo basketball.
The fans will stand up because Marcus Lee's giving all he can right now, laying out for that ball. Aggressiveness underneath. Buffalo that shot 44% in the first half, just shooting 25% here in the second half. They had 4 made three-pointers in the first half. They have 0 in the second half. That'll be a reach-in.
That's the 3rd foul on Aaron Harrison, and that again is one of the many benefits of having as deep and talented a roster as John Calipari has. Foul trouble isn't as much trouble, maybe, for the Wildcats.
It's trouble if it changes your aggressiveness at this end of the floor, though. Even if it's for a brief stint, you give a team life, you give them opportunities. We've seen already, Buffalo, they will walk through the open door if you're going to give it to them.
Moss, open from the corner, can't knock it down. Here comes Andrew Harrison. Leaves it for his brother Aaron. Too strong off the tip. And a fresh 35.
Marcus Lee is playing with aggressiveness right now. He has got great activity. He's going after the ball every single time it's up in the air.
Dakari Johnson set to check back in for Coach Cal. Harrison, a little hesitation move. Gets it to the rim, and he'll go to the line and shoot.
Andrew Harrison has not had a stellar day from the field, just 1 for 5 overall, but a good job that time getting the lane, drawing the contact, and earning the trip to the free throw line. You have to credit Buffalo for not allowing him. When he turns the corner, he loves to get that lane and attack the rim immediately. They haven't given up that lane very often today.
Comes up short on the first free throw attempt.
He had a great opener against Grand Canyon, 16 points. He was 5 of 6 from the free throw line, and a lot of that had to do with the defensive philosophy that Grand Canyon was playing with. I mean, they were basically begging him to score the basketball, and he did.
Wildcats as a team now 13 for 21 from the free throw line. So on a team as loaded as the Wildcats, always looking to improve. That's certainly one area that Coach Calipari and his staff will focus on.
Yet in their opener, they shot 74% as a team. I believe that's
going to be called, and if that's on Towns, that's his 5th. And he can't believe it. So Karl Towns will go to the bench.
Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns, his birthday yesterday. Not the game he wanted to have. His family's in town. And instead, he will go to the bench with his 5th personal foul and finish the afternoon going 1 for 6 from the floor.
3 points, 5 rebounds for Towns. And Willie Cauley-Stein will check back in to replace the freshman. Nice fake by Bearden underneath. Johnson can't get it to go, but the foul is called. Lamonte Bearden pulled a Rajon Rondo on the Kentucky Wildcats defense.
Raheem Johnson on the line.
Johnson's a player that's going to have to develop over the course of the season for Coach Hurley in Buffalo, because they don't have a lot of size. He can bring it. That's 6'10". He struggled at times with foul trouble at the junior college level. In fact, he fouled out 13 times in his 26 games at the junior college level. He'll finish around the rim and give him an interior presence besides Justin Moss. It'll help out as they get closer to conference play.
Johnson 1 for 2. Cauley-Stein the rebound. Buffalo stuck on 48. They have 1 field goal in the last 5 minutes. Harrison pulls up. Offensive rebound. Another miss at close range for one of the Kentucky bigs. Well, Kentucky's football team gave up a 50-burger to Tennessee yesterday. Wildcats defensive basketball team not giving up 50 yet, and we have under 5 minutes to go. More good defense. That's the 4th foul on Justin Moss. And it sounds cliche, Sean, to say it, but in this case, we've witnessed it firsthand. Defense for the Wildcats has cued and keyed their offense.
Well, they had great defense in the first half on Friday against Grand Canyon, and in the second half, they kind of relaxed a little bit. And tonight, in the first half, they were relaxed at the defensive end of the floor. In the second half, they started competing and playing with a sense of urgency and purpose. They've got to be able to do that for 40 complete minutes. And they're going to get tested on that on Tuesday night against Kansas.
4.5 minutes to close this one out against a game Buffalo Bulls squad. The lob from Johnson. Lyles caught it, he got fouled, and he'll go to the line and shoot 2.
Good high-low entry pass, and Wigginton just got caught underneath.
So give me some instant perspective now. We're 4.5 minutes still till the conclusion of this game ultimately, but what have you seen from these Kentucky players that has stood out to you on the positive side?
Well, on the positive side, when they play with energy. And look, they are so talented, so deep, that when they play with energy at the defensive end of the floor, things get better for them at the offensive end, whether it's getting those fast break looks or even executing with the better floor spacing, the high-low entry pass we just saw. Those are the little things that you've got to be able to not just bottle up and do for short spurts, but you've got to be able to do it for an entire game if the end result of this season is going to be what this team's goal is.
Lyles knocks them both down. It's a 61-48 Kentucky lead.
I think Tyler Ulis' control of the game has been a calming force throughout. No turnovers. He gets his hands on it defensively. He's knocked down perimeter shots.
And he's hit 4 3-pointers this afternoon, too. Booker gets it back from Johnson, knocks it down.
That's the execution I'm talking about. All of a sudden, you start playing better at the defensive end of the floor, it bleeds over to the offense. Instead of letting your offense dictate how you compete at the defensive end, let your defense dictate how you play at the offensive end of the floor. Good spacing, good unselfishness, nice little handoff action, and Booker gets a wide open look.
And the lid has been put on the basket for these Buffalo Bulls. No field goals in the last 7 minutes. Moss had to alter his shot just by virtue of Dakari Johnson being in the neighborhood. 3 minutes to go as Kentucky looks to move on to 2-0 in advance of their game Tuesday night against Kansas. 20-3 run from the Wildcats over the last 10 minutes. Now with 8 to shoot, Willie Cauley-Stein finishes.
You can't allow a clean lane to the rim defensively. If you do, that's what will happen.
And Bobby Hurley calls a timeout.
Pretty good defense early in this possession, and then Tyler Ulis turns the corner. Everybody's concerned about the roller, which is Dakari Johnson, but you got to be concerned about the back line. That's Willie Cauley-Stein as he elevates up and finishes.
Don't forget about Tuesday night when Michigan State takes on Duke in the first half of a championship caliber doubleheader. Then it's Kansas taking on these #1 Wildcats. It's the State Farm Champions Classic. Tuesday starting at 7 and followed up at 9 o'clock on ESPN, and watch ESPN, the home court of college hoops.
29 straight hours of college basketball. They have a big one here on the women's side. Kentucky will take on Baylor. 21,000 tickets already gone for Coach Mitchell and the women's Wildcats team as they try to have that rematch from that classic game down in Dallas. And of course, the
overtime game, huh?
Champions Classic on the other side. I'm excited to get to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I've got Wichita State, the Shockers, who you and I were at the game when they went 31-0 to close out last year's regular season as they take on Memphis. Josh Pastner's team looking to rebound from an unexpected exhibition loss.
It's been a tale of two halves for Bobby Hurley's Buffalo Bulls. In the first half, they shot 44%. In the second half, only 19%. Stick with us here on ESPNU. Coming up next, the ACC Men's Soccer Championship. #4 Clemson taking on #6 Louisville. We'll have all the action from Cary, North Carolina coming up next.
Well, the women Wildcats soccer program already in the NCAA tournament. They had their opener yesterday. Taylor Braun, the freshman goalkeeper, a couple saves and PKs to advance them to take on Arizona State.
Moss thought about it. No good. Lyles the rebound. Counting down to 2 minutes to go. Kentucky will improve to 2-0, but it was not quite as easy as many would have imagined. There's Booker off the curl.
That might be the biggest positive for Kentucky in the second half, is that Devin Booker is starting to find his rhythm within this offense. He's getting some clean looks. As we mentioned, a prolific scorer at the high school level. Started his career 0 for 6 the other night.
3 field goals in the second half for Devin Booker, the last 2 coming via that sweet stroke of a jump shot.
Buffalo looking content to run out the clock. I mean, very slow in their offensive approach. And in the second half, the speed, the quickness, the athleticism of Kentucky wearing out the Bulls. Well, the tale of two halves. In the first half, Buffalo able to execute, find clean looks. They were aggressive. They looked to turn the corner. Not afraid of the height underneath, and they finished at a 44% clip. This one, the highlight and the exclamation point to the first half. But in the second half, it's been about Kentucky. Their defense has been stellar, locking down the Bulls to just 17% shooting from the floor. And at the other end, they've been able to get up, get into the rim and get their energy level up. And Tyler Ulis, if you're going to close out with your hands down, he's going to make you pay and shoot up over the top. He's got 12 points, 5 assists, and 0 turnovers. He has done an excellent job as a freshman point guard, orchestrating and running this offense and picking and choosing his spots to find his shot.
So many options, so many weapons for John Calipari and the Kentucky Wildcats. They're closing this game out on a 24-3 run. That's where it stands right now with 1:21 left. And you get the sense spending any amount of time in Lexington, Kentucky, and really anywhere where there would be Kentucky Wildcat fans, which would be anywhere around the country, 24-3 is the expectation all the time. That's unmanageable, even with a talented team like the Wildcats are. Wigginton gets the first one to go.
And clear point of view as far as the difference in the halves. Wigginton had 10 in the first half, only 4 in the second half, make it 5.
And no field goals in the second half. They've all come from the free throw line. 17-point Kentucky lead.
Well, Kentucky has done what it needed to do here today to pick up the victory. Not necessarily, as you mentioned, in the way and the fashion in which people expected. In the second half, Coach Kell will be more pleased with the effort.
Nice left hand by Dakari Johnson. He has 9. Under a minute to go. Don't forget, coming up immediately after our game, the ACC Men's Soccer Championship. Number 4 Clemson, number 6 Louisville, coming up from Cary, North Carolina. Next up for the Buffalo Bulls, they stay on the road. They're going to Arlington to take on UTA. And of course, as we talked about, these Kentucky Wildcats will jet over to Indianapolis for a Tuesday night showdown. From showdown to throwdown for Trey Lyles.
They can take off and put it on you in a hurry. Another strong effort out of number 41, Trey Lyles.
14 points for Lyles. A 21-point Kentucky lead as we count down the final seconds of this one. Bearden gets it to go.
Buffalo will learn from this experience, and it will benefit them over the long haul, just as Kentucky will. Kentucky has to learn from this experience and get better. The attention to detail has to be much cleaner.
Your final score, number 1 Kentucky 71, Buffalo 52. That's it for us here at Rupp Arena. Now let's send you to Cary, North Carolina for the ACC Men's Soccer Championship.